Conor's his dad's son, and his dad's exactly the same. And the Eubanks and the Benns, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and so there'll always be that family rivalry going on. And Chris's aloof personality, riles Conor, like his dad did, with their dads did. So he knows exactly what he's got to do.
It was a bitch move, if I'm honest, because any time an attack like that is like premeditated. I'm not like, if you have a head-to-head, someone says something, someone pushes you, you whack him. I get it. But to all sit there and go, yeah, right, get me an egg, yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to goad him on and then I'm going to hit him around the face, which was really in the eye, with an egg.
Conor Benn, the jury's out on Conor because we've got nothing to gauge him off. He didn't fight for a southern area, an English, a British, a European, so we don't know how he's got to perform in a 50-50 fight, in a title fight, because we have no evidence. Yeah, I expect so. But Eubank Jr. is his own man, and that's what he's always tried to make out. This is me, this is my career, and this is how I do things. Dad, that was your era, that was your time, blah, 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 let me do this. But I'm sure he'd love to have him sat ringside watching him.
I'm hoping him to beat Chris Eubank because Chris Eubank is bigger, he's faster.
Ben's got the ferocity and he's got the art, and he's the ferocity and art and all of that.
Was a fantastic fighter, is a fantastic fighter, but he's too heavy. Okay, he is a 168-pound fighter. For him to get down to 160 now is too much for him. So Conor would be fighting someone who has lost his punch resistance, which was proven with this Mr. Smith. Again, I don't talk against my son. I'm there to protect him because I know how dangerous this young man is in Conor Benn. I know how dangerous he is. 147 fights, 147. Leave Junior alone.
They're making this fight on the second day 170 because they want Conor Benn to have a chance. Without it, Chris will rock him up. Chris will finish him. So Eddie Hearn is good at his job. He protects his fighters. So he thought he needs to do something here so where Conor has a bit of a chance. And that will be to tell Eubank, you're not allowed to be more than 10 pounds on the second day, which is even less than the IBF rules. So the IBF, you can be 172. Yeah. So this is no organisation does this. So obviously it's a tactic of them to try and get that little small advantage on the next day. But listen, Chris agreed to it. For me, I found it weird because the way Conor Benn was gunning for this fight, you'd think it'd be like how Kell Brook was when he fought Golovkin, just go up to middleweight and fight.
By the way, that was interesting. Eubank Benn, that's a fight you want to see, no?
That is a fight I want to see.
Good fight, isn't it?
For sure, it is a good fight.
Big fight as well, like stadium, packed out.
Are we saying stadium?
I think so. I think it
does. Think it'll do well?
Yeah.
Wembley, Tottenham, Cardiff.
Tottenham,
yeah?
60,000.
That'll work out well.
Yeah, I think Wembley might just be pushing it just a little bit.
I think they can do it.
Only a few certain men can do Wembley.
Boxing's on the big stage.
Agreed.
Look at this.
Agreed.
It's amazing.
You've had a nice little break. I saw you out in Nigeria. Do you feel like re-energized, ready to go again?
You know I do.
I know you do.
You know I do.
Yeah.
But more so after my last fight, I took some time out. Mm-hmm. I let my body heal, which I'm still working on now. And I declined some business opportunities so I can focus on the sport, which takes off mental pressure, not just physical stuff. So I let my body heal physically. And then the mental aspect, I've obviously declined some things that are draining mentally. And I went away with family, which is always good. And we're back again, ready for...
I'm not sure what the genuine beef is with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. I know they've got the history, like I mentioned, the father's name. Chris Eubank seems quite chilled and quite happy and smiley. But every time Conor Benn comes into close proximity with Chris Eubank Jr., he turns into a roadman killer, doesn't he? He's got serious beef. Every time he gets in his face, he puts it on him. Says he don't like him, he even hates him. He wants to smash his head in. I'm like, is this just selling the fight or is this genuine need? And if it is genuine need, what's it for? Is it why you got so much beef? Is it just because of the family name? Conor Benn could do with winning this because he's 28 years old, and moving forward he's got a potential bright future ahead of him. Chris Eubank Jr. wins this fight, I'm not sure what doors it opens for him or where it takes him at 35 years old, because in my opinion, at this age of your boxing career, then you've only got 2 or 3 years left, especially at this weight.
On good terms. I don't believe he didn't know about it.
No, you know I didn't know.
No, I don't, because I think you're a little bit snaky.
No, you know I didn't know. Don't talk.
Because no.
You can't say things.
No, stop, because then I'll take you through it. Listen, I've been very nice to you lately.
You can't say
and
things,
I've been very nice to you lately. I've given you a big education the last couple of weeks. I've told you were very lucky to be talking to me. Right. But we do get on well. We actually have a bit of banter. He actually, if you don't mind me saying, he was asking me potentially to go and box as bald.
Yeah, it was
the other night.
I haven't got a favourite. I think the bigger man should win, but the bigger man's he's not great himself. You know, when we talk about a good big and beats a good little one, listen, you've got to remember, Eubank's not great. And in his last fight, I thought he looked old. It's the first time I've looked at him and I thought...
in Riyadh, I agree with you. He got...
Gareth, I thought he looked old.
Yeah.
I thought he looked old. Yeah. And if age is catching up on you, and listen, don't forget, his father has always banged on about him sparring heavyweights. When they were working together, and he was always talking about he spars heavyweights, he stands there as well. That shortens your lifespan in boxing. That has an effect. And if time has now come onto it, he's 35 years old, he's struggling to make the weight, time comes onto you, you've got again, Ben might not be the biggest, everybody makes that as though he's this huge puncher. He had a portion of his career where he didn't look like a huge puncher. He had a little window where all of a sudden he was a monster.
Actually, a good thing sometimes to have a little bit of weight to train up. Not a lot, but and I think that's what Eubank's got, whereas Conor is already at the weight, or there or thereabouts. So that's also a benefit in the sense like he can now just completely fuel his training and fuel his performance. But it's always going to favour the bigger man. It's always going to favour the bigger man. But age is the biggest factor for me in this fight.
Was I surprised? Not really. I mean, I didn't know he was going to pull an egg out of his pocket and slap it around his head. But, it was always going to be some form of drama. And, yeah, it was always going to happen. It spiced it up. Like I say, I wasn't really surprised by it. Maybe a little bit stupid, maybe not a little bit stupid. Maybe there was going to be something that's going to happen. Was it going to be Conor Benn? Was it going to be Chris Eubank Jr.? But I think that shows you the rivalry between these two and the feuds between these two.
Chris very well. I grew up with him. We went to school together, and he's been in my gym the whole time. And I'm also very close with Conor Benn. He's a good pal of mine. So it's very hard for me to sort of sit back and say this or say that. I think they're doing a fantastic job in selling their fight. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. They both obviously have the needle with each other, and they're both going to give it everything. So be prepared for war. And I hope they get out of the ring safe and
on all of that. He's got and he has looked good. He has looked good of late. When he was when he was active. What's his name? The other guy, Eubanks, for me, he's been a little bit inactive, but he's an hard fucker and all. I'll tell you what, when his old man sent him out to New York, I forget who he was with now, but he was out in New York. His old man's conditioned him. His old man. I like the job that both their fathers have done on their kids. I like Eubank, the way he talks. I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off here now, but I like him. I can't say I dislike him. And Ben, and he reminds me of his old man. You know what I mean? He reminds me of his old man. So yeah, great fight, great fight. I'm looking forward to it.
And then just circling back to your gym, what's the latest with everyone else? The likes of John Hedges, Tommy Fletcher, etc. Yeah,
John Hedges is back in the gym. He's looking a lot trimmer now, and I'm hearing there's going to be an announcement.
Won't get the better of Eubank?
I think Conor Benn beats Eubank, but I kind of need Eubank to win. Do you know what I mean? For myself, from a selfish perspective, I need him to win.
Did you want to fight him?
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be the first defence if you win that, or when you win that WBC title? Is that someone that you would choose?
100%, 100%. As long as obviously everyone's okay with it, it'd be that. I mean, why not? It'd be the biggest fight for me next in boxing, and I haven't got long left in the 160-pound division, so it's not me going on about taking certain defences. It's all about just fighting the big fight.
Sure. And it lines up because obviously your Feb 22. We don't know the exact date, but April 26 has been touted. So if Chris Eubank does win, maybe it does work out as a summer fight.
Yeah.
It's a stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be. It could be for sure. And I mean,
where?
hopefully the Emirates. Do you know what I mean? That'd be a massive dream of mine.
Not White Hart Lane, no.
Nah.
Match, you know, just as much a mismatch as the pressers have been. It will be a similar format, you know, playing out in the physical. Chris is way too much, and that will become evident as the rounds go on.
Not having the antics of Chris Eubank Jr. the other day when he had that egg moment and he slapped it right into Conor Benn's face. I'm nothing wookish about me, I can assure you. When I let rip, you'll know all about it. But I do feel it's maybe what the sport doesn't need, and yet many people are saying, no, it's great, you watch it. Everybody wants to go to that.
Special time for myself as a fan in this fight, yeah, for sure.
If you're Conor Benn, what does he have to do to go up 2 weight classes and beat Eubank?
Well, listen, look, fights are won and lost on the scales most of the time. You get me? Not most of the time, but fights are won and lost on the scales. Unless you're in the camp and you're around the camp, it's difficult to make judgments. But listen, Ben's got the ferocity and he's got the art and the ferocity and art and all of that. He's got yeah, and he has looked good. He has looked good of late. You know, when he was active. What's his name? The other guy, Eubanks. For me, he's been a little bit inactive, but he's an hard fucker and all. I'll tell you what. When his old man sent him out to New York, I forget who he was with now.
I'm hard for him to beat Chris Eubank because Chris Eubank is first bigger, he's faster, he hits harder, he's had more experience in really big fights. I don't see how you...
And that wraps up our discussion on the highly anticipated clash between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Experts are split. Some believe Benn's raw power and aggression will take him to victory, while others argue that Eubank Jr.'s vast experience will be the deciding factor, helping him stay composed and claim the win. However, Benn must tread carefully. Eubank Jr. has faced fierce opponents before and knows how to handle the heat under pressure. If Benn charges in too recklessly, he might walk right into a devastating shot. This isn't just about securing a win, it's about legacy, family, and a bitter rivalry that stretches deep into boxing history. Now, it's time for the next chapter in this iconic story. Who do you think will come out on top? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fight analysis, predictions, and reactions. This one's going to be a thriller. Don't miss it.